Alrighty, everybody. This one's going to be a bit of a longer one. The others were on the shorter end because they were a little thinner. This one's on the chunkier side. Now, I don't know. This one says character designs, #1, but I feel like there's going to be more than character designs here. Anytime I label a Sketchpad or make one or get one specifically for a certain reason, it always ends up going back to... let me move the camera a bit. It always ends up like becoming a miscellaneous one where there's multiple things in there besides what was written here. So you're probably going to see that a lot in the series. So let's go ahead and open her up. Let's see. There's a character I kind of like the idea of. His name is Freddy Angler. He's an anglerfish. He's a little nasty bugger. The idea is that he was just going to be like a nasty, mean character, and I still kind of like him. And as for this guy, he's a Reaper, because he literally says, "We Reapers are not killers." Ironthorn, I guess that's his name. I kind of like him. I feel like there could be more to his design, something more fun. Anyway, who's this Neo? Who the hell is Neo? He would eat, because I guess anime characters like to eat. This was me, I think, trying to just make new main characters for a project that never came to be. A lot of these projects didn't come to be, which is unfortunate, but at the same time, it's a growing process. Vince... Let's see. It looks like he was going to be a weapon master. He had all sorts of different weapons. Sword, axe, knife, halberd. So, but I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. It seemed like these are just two generic anime-ass looking characters. Like, we got your generic main character who loves to eat. And he's like, I ain't gonna give up. And just rival characters. Just like, I'm above this. Being really antagonistic to my own art. It's a growth process. This is once again that platform fighter. Gothic Bloody Climax. I was so confident in this Neo character, I guess he was going to be in it. Because he's right there. He had arms coming out of his back. Oh, what is that? There's... Oh, this must be older. This must be 2016 at least. Because this is when I was still drawing Tug as the stuffed animal. There's Screaming Soul, the older version of him. There's, I think that's Scarlet Fallen, could be wrong. Or another character, could be Ixnad from an old project I did years ago that never got completed. There's Ultra Z from my childhood. Alrighty. There's a take on an Alice Darkston logo. I don't know who this is. I don't know who this man is. That's a man right there. Let's see. There's a Scythe. Don't know. Who's that man? Is that Spike Foreman from Mario? Was this just me drawing Mario characters? Oh, there is Mario. And there is... I don't know who that is. He's a droplet with... I know that guy, that dog. Remember in Super Mario Maker, they had the Undo dog? I can't remember his name. I think that's maybe more like a feral version of him, and I don't know who the droplet is, though. And this... Couldn't tell you. I think that's just meant to be another version of the Butler, how I used to interpret myself. Let's see. Look at this big thing. Look at this. Yeah, oh yeah, I'm remembering this one now. This is early 2016. I remember now. Because I remember specifically drawing this guy in my old apartment that I first got at that point in like 2016. I only lived in there for a few months, and that was a big-ass apartment. It was a nice apartment, too. Very spacious. Missed that place. But anyway, I drew this guy. He's meant to be sort of like a camera and a mix mash of like different production items. Like you got lights, you got tapes. He's kind of a mess of a design, but I feel like if you put him into like a live action setting or like a realistic game setting, like a Silent Hill, I think this design would work a lot better for that. This is an early version of the Fernance Fearling. Back when then he was going to be called the Infernus. And I'm not even sure, this sketch I don't think was made for Alice Darkston specifically. Oh, this is really important, actually. This is the first drawing of Wave, the Fennec Fox. But back then, her name was Eden. Or Iden, I guess. I don't know. I drew this character. I thought I lost this sketch. This is cool. This was originally... I created this character as, like, what if PlayStation had a colorful mascot that's not Crash Bandicoot? Then I remember Toro, the cat, that's, like, the Japanese mascot. But I meant more for a Western side. And this is the sketch that came up. Eventually, this would become Wave the Fennec Fox. I'm not even sure if she's meant to be a Fennec Fox here, actually. It's possible. Her ears and tail definitely aren't as big. But yeah, this is the first drawing of Wave. That is crazy. I'm taking a picture of that.
You can't stop me!
I already think of some things that might still be here. Like the Nevis! This guy. The idea of this monster is that he's called the Nevis because it's 7 backwards. And as you can tell, he has 7 limbs, and each hand, well, not each hand, I could see some that are breaking that rule, this one right here, but a lot of them would have 7 fingers on each hand. And this right here is meant to show like what he does with his fingers. His fingers were going to come up and just, they were actually going to be mouths. He would slowly chomp down on stuff like this. I've never used him for anything. I actually redesigned this guy today, believe it or not. Just today. Like, here, let me get my fucking Sketchpad. This is exciting. Literally made this just a few hours ago. This is insane. What a fucking coincidence. This is some kind of buff plague doctor. I like this guy. Look at this big man. He's got needles for hands. Might change that. This is one of those designs I actually really like. Hang on, let me get my dang phone. Oh, even more fun stuff. This is an early version of Gem before she became who she is now. I gave her a lot more piercings. I wanted her hoodie to still be a part of the design because in her very first version she did wear a hoodie, so I just tied it around her waist. I removed it because it knew to be bullshit trying to draw that thing all the time. And as for this guy, Mr. Scratches. The idea here is he's kind of meant to be like my own version of Salad Fingers, I think. He's, that's what I think he's supposed to be. I remember specifically, I was going to make a series of him like, oh, this is a tour through my house. But his personality was literally just Salad Fingers. The design is unique, I'll give myself that. I might, like, make him a little more scrawny. Bit more cartoonish, but, Mr. Scratches ain't bad. Alright, Goomba! This is the idea I had for, like, what if Goomba was in Smash Brothers? Because, you know, I'm just gonna say it. I don't mind that Piranha Plant's in Smash, but I do kind of wish that if they're gonna go for a Mario enemy, I think it should have been Goomba. He's like the first enemy you see. He's like in every Mario game, right? He, like, when it comes to Mario enemies, the first one you typically think of is either him or Koopa, right? And this was me being like, what if he was in Smash? He would pair a Goomba for up special. He would drop the mini Goombas to, like, weigh up characters down. The Karibo boot for down special. His final smash, I guess, is Mario Maker, it looks like, because he has a stylus, and he's summoned out a bunch of Mario enemies. Side B looks like it is Lakitu Spinies. And B looks like, what are those things called in Mario Galaxy? The ones that go... yes, these are other characters that were at one point going to be a part of Alice Darkson. Yes, Vinny Vintage was going to be a part of Alice Darkson. None of these, actually, these two characters never made it in. This guy did... geez, this is spoiling. Would this be spoiling things? Not really. Anyway, this is Alice's father, Edward Darkson. A very early version of him. He does not look like this anymore. He doesn't look anything like this. He has a completely different design. The Vandalus Vandal was originally going to be a character in Alice Darkson, but that went through, and this character, Violet Fallen, was also going to be in. I'm not sure what her powers were supposed to be. I listed some here. It looks like Smoke, Plant, Nature, Spectre. Either she was going to be a jack of all trades, or I couldn't decide. I can't draw hands. It's okay. None of us can. Anyone who thinks they can is a liar. Fucking liar. Here's some other monsters. Oh, what's this? Subject 103. Skinkles? There's some different ghouls and creatures. There's a lamp man. There's a big buffet. Oh yeah! This is an early version, an attempt at redesigning Crunchus Demania. He was going to become a shapeshifter. And these were his different forms. I remember now. Neato Bazito. Damnation. There's a big old demon boy. He's fucking... Ah! Look at this buff man. Look at this big old buff boy. Hell's Destructive Architect. I think he was supposed to be part of Alice Darkson too. I can't remember Oh yeah, and this is my idea is to like, what if Nintendo themselves were in Smash Brothers? What if we just made sort of like an original-esque character? Like, he's a guy in a suit and he's got the Wii U pad for a face. Nowadays it'd be the Switch. This is before the Switch even came to be. This was like a year before the Switch got announced. So obviously, like, these are all different peripherals. The idea is that he would use other Nintendo peripherals and merchandise for the moveset. Or that be like, or controllers too, like the Wii Remote, Power Glove, Pokemon trading cards. And he would just be like a physical embodiment of Nintendo as a whole. Still kind of like that idea. I know they never do it. That's like making an original character for Smash, which I don't think they did. Well, as a playable character, Master Hand technically is original. You know what I mean. This was an attempt at making a UI or a health meter for my hypothetical fighting game that still has yet to come to be. And this is meant to be a lost episode version of Vinny Vintage. Ooh, who's this guy? Ooh, I like him. Big Spider-Man. Not to be confused with Marvel Spider-Man. I realized what I said. I like him, though. He's pretty neat. You know what? Taking a picture of him, too. This guy, I don't know who he is, but he got a gun. Tiny little thing. Ain't a big gun at all. Oh, yeah, this was an attempt to... This was like Leon before he became Leon Hoverza. No, it's not. This is a different character that would... Okay, so you know in My Hero Academia there's a character, Shoto, he has fire and ice, right? Well, before I even discovered My Hero Academia, this is a year before that, I actually made a character that had a similar concept. But this time, remember in the Ben 10 video, I mentioned the blue fire and red ice aliens? This would go back to that. His pistols, called Need and Desire, one would shoot the blue fire, you can see by the tattoos, which would be which, and the other would shoot the red ice. The reason I kind of abandoned that idea was because it was too close to My Hero Academia's, like, peak. I'm not sure, like, if that's even really fair to say. And I don't want people thinking, like, oh, you're just ripped off Shoto Todoroki. It's like, no, this is before I even saw that series. I promise you. I promise! And as for who this character is, I don't know. She's a character with a spear and a sword. She's meant to be a badass, but I don't know where the fuck she's supposed to be. Big old building. Still square as shit before I figure out how to make fucking cartoonish buildings. It's got a pool at the top. Ain't that neat? Very confused shape, but unique. I'll give it that. Oh, this is a version of, like, the Star Rake. This was going to be the base of Alice and her friends. This is long before the Kingdom of Gothindel was even made. This was going to take place in the real world originally. Which, yes, very realistic here. A concept for that place. There's a zipper going on here. What's that about? I don't know. Don't ask me. It's not like I made this. Obsidian? Oh, what a handsome chap. I'm not even kidding. I think that's the most handsome man I ever drew. Look at this handsome chap. Very handsome. This guy, I don't know. He's some Persona-looking motherfucker. I drew a Blastoise, I guess. I don't know. There's a Smash Ball, so I'm guessing this is like, well, what if Blastoise wasn't Smash? There's some electric dude. You say nice. And I don't know what this guy is. Spiddly Jim. Let's go with that. This is a Steven Universe-styled Alice Darkson. This is when she still wore, like, the mesh on her arms. And this is when she was a completely different character, too. That man, I don't know. I think that might be another version of Crunch's Demonia. There's the shitty self-insert that would eventually become Zack Shadron and Zen Vasquez. And there's a knight. Not exactly sure who he is. He might have been an Alice Darkson, or like planned at one point, I'm not sure. Here's a monster centered around the fear of hair. I think this might be a fearling? It could be. They had a beak and everything. They're kind of neat looking, but I feel like I could have done better with that fear. Don't know who this is. Some goth chick. There's some Pomeranians. They might be related to Shade or just my own. There's this thing. Don't know what the hell that man is. He's like a yo-yo looking motherfucker. I gotta figure out a way to angle this better. It looks blurry down here. Am I the only one who thinks that? It might look better in post, but if not, I'll try and edit it as much as I can, but I can't promise anything. Henry Duckwad. This is just Duckman. This is literally just Duckman. I feel like I just made a Duckman. I don't think I knew what Duckman was at this point, though. That's the thing. I don't think I've ever even heard of it. The first time I heard of it was with Rebel Taxi's review. And that was, I think, in 2017. So I ended up making a very similar character by complete accident. I just made Duckman by accident. Oh, good God. I can't get over that. I just literally made Duckman. There's just some indie characters. Yeah, this is definitely 2016. There's Lilac from Freedom Planet. Love that game. If you haven't played it, you should. Meat Boy from Super Meat Boy. Great game. If you haven't played it, you should. Shovel Knight from Shovel Knight. Great game. If you haven't played it, you should. And White Face from I'm Scared. Never played it. Believe it or not. This was like for the idea of making an indie platform fighter. This is before Indie Pogo was even revealed. What's funny enough, these three characters, three of these characters are inside Indie Pogo. Her and Whiteface are not. Who knows? And these are some other characters. This I guess this goth is named Alan, and this character who's blatantly just a cartoonish Gem Kyoko is named Heather. I don't think this was supposed to be Gem. I think I was just trying to create cartoonish characters, but I do kind of like Alan. Heather is just pretty much Gem, though. Looking for interesting stuff. There's some demented fruits. And that might be an early version of the Phantom, don't know. Do. What is really noteworthy? There's that. Move on. There's I guess, yeah, I was trying to make another attempt at making like an anime-esque series, and this was going to be one of the teachers. Once again, similar to a character from My Hero Academia, did not intend that. And this was going to be their school mascot. Blue Tiger, I think his name is. I think he's meant to be a hybrid between, like, mascots of two schools I went to. One was, the Blue Man from Spring Grove, and the other was, I think there was a tiger in Centralia High School in Washington. I'm not sure if that's true. Who the fuck are these guys? Tim Can and Jim Worm Jam. Okay. Obviously we had a cartoon can and a cartoon blind worm with two heads. Kind of like that guy anyway. You know what? Taking a picture of him too. Jim Worm Jam. Oh, that's why his name is Jim Worm Jam. I get it. This is Jim. This is a worm, and this is Jim. This is Jam. Ah. Little kid me knew. Oh, this wasn't little kid me. I was 20. Oh yeah, these are the avatars I was actually making that would become the avatar I made in that one video. It was a fireworks video. I think that might be on this channel re-uploaded. But yeah, that's where this guy is. This is the sketch that led to him. And this, I don't know who this is. Is that like an older version of Steven from Steven Universe and he's smoking weed? I don't know. I remember drawing this guy. Oh yeah! Oh my god! This is an attempt to draw that Ningen looking creature from that dream I had. This is putting things into context. This is when I had that dream. I was drawing him. Obviously I changed him a bit from his dream version. Now I'm starting to question whether or not this is more closely to his dream version or the one I made inside Nightmare Journal is. Because, you know, Nightmare Journal 1 had eyes. And this guy, nice ass, by the way. Don't know. He was just going to be a guy that would drag himself around. He was going to talk. His jaw was going to be all the way down. And he was going to, like, to talk, he would grab his jaw and just sort of puppet it around his mouth. It would constantly be clanging against his teeth. So, yeah, he's not necessarily a threat. Oh, this is an interesting one. You know Mau Mau? Heroes of Pure Heart? This little guy just pretty much is Mau Mau. But this was before the show even came to be. I'm not saying like, oh, Cartoon Network ripped me off. That's a psychotic thing to fucking think. But I think it's hilarious how I created a character that was pretty much just Mau Mau. but just like slightly different, and a white beard. He looks like Mao Mao if he was mixed with the cat from Persona 5. I can't remember. Morgan? Anyway, make some Mickey Mouse looking dude. We got some crazy bunny and this person. I don't know what the fuck that is. And a cartoon bird. I don't know what this is. Some sort of political commentary, maybe. I don't know. Oh yeah, here's another version of Raiden. This is one I think one of the first times I created him, along with this pelican looking dude. I think he's a mailman. I don't know why I made him. I think I just was experimenting with different styles, but anyway, it's pretty cool. I don't know what this man is. He looks better in camera than what I'm looking at in this angle, though. I think I was just making random monster designs. I didn't really name a lot of them back then. Oh yeah, this guy. Believe it or not, this is an early version of Andre Stoneheart. He was originally named Leo, and his whole thing was going to be about fireworks. And he was, like, originally going to be white. Why? Why did I change him from white to black? Mainly just because I wanted more representation in Alice Darkson, and he went through a complete character overhaul personality-wise. So it just felt right to, like, if we're gonna change, like, his personality and his power all the way through, because originally at this point he was gonna use fireworks and chemicals, and now he uses earth. So I figured, like, if we're gonna change him that much personality-wise, we need a new design, and that's the opportunity I had to, like, add more representation. You might see an early version of Andre here, I'm not sure. Oh yeah, this is some creepy kooky character right here. I don't know what it's about, but look at this thing. Got like this little tiny character. They're both two characters in one, obviously, and I think the little tiny one is going to just yell at and essentially abuse the bigger one and tell them what to do, because the bigger one was obviously in charge of the body. The little one was just kind of the mind and the voice. Not really exactly sure what I made them for, though. Still kind of like the design. No, these are not boobs. Just so you know. This is just a regular chest. A wrinkled nipple, and one's ripped off. Alright? YouTube, don't go kooky on this. Don't go kooky on this. Oh, this is me making horror versions of memes. So yeah, this is gonna date the video quite a bit. This is Dat Boy, and this is Harambe, but I made horror versions of them. I'm not sure if, like, that would be considered insensitive, considering, like, the incident that led to Harambe's death. And I kind of just made a horror version where he gets shot in the face. I can't remember the gender. But anyway, yeah, this is probably dating this Sketchpad quite a bit. I still like the horror version of Dat Boy. In fact, you know what I gotta take a picture of? My sister wants to do something with this. And there's some cow. There's a dreidel with a face. I'm not sure what that was gonna be used for. Should I be concerned? This is just meant to be like a generic cartoon, like a superhero, along with an early version of Vinny Vintage. The idea about him is that he was gonna... Oh god, this is an idea that just so happens to be similar to My Hero Academia again. Because... because, you know, Ida, he has, like, the jets on it, he has the fucking engines on his legs, and he uses it for super speed. This guy has the same exact thing, except it's also in his arms. What was with me making ideas that just so happened to be like My Hero Academia, and this is before I've even watched the show. I mean, this is like a hybrid between Ida and All Might. Look at this guy. Look at this old man. You know what? Taking a picture of him. Not sure what it is, not sure what it's for. I like him, though. There's stuff. Ooh, this is the base I used for that Tug avatar that I would use for God knows how many different videos. This is the sketch where that came from, along with his horror head. So this was beside him the entire time, huh?
I am not sure what this thing is. I am questioning my entire existence.
There's Blake, before I decided to give him a face. Along with, I like this guy. Not so much the whistle coach, but I like the boxing, I like the punching bag, man. He's cool. Let's take a picture of him. Hey, there's Chris from Oni Plays. I was gonna make a video. You know how, like, back then, in older Oni Plays intros, it would say, Oni Plays. I was gonna make a video of, like, just like an Oni Plays based video, where it was gonna be like, Oni Plays, Oni Days, Oni Gays. And I was gonna have illustrations that went with it. just see how many things I could rhyme with Oni Plays. This is another version of Leon Hoverza, and goddamn, once again, too similar to My Hero Academia. This is basically from the second season. Oh god. This here I think is meant to be, it's meant to be like a cartoon, because he's got rubber hose gloves, but he's all distorted, and he's tormenting this anime-ass character. This is the point in time when I was still drawing a lot of anime. Unlar, the single-celled organism. This guy? I guess. He's kind of interesting looking. I guess the idea is that he's supposed to be very, like, flat colored. He's supposed to look very basic because he's a giant single-celled organism. And this is just some kind of bug warrior. Not sure exactly what he's about. Oh yeah, here's a concept of Gothendale Castle. I was trying to pen this one out, it looks like. I can only bring this one up so fucking close. Goddamn. Look at this. Ain't it neat? Wouldn't you think the drawing's complete? No, it's not. Yeah, here's a version of Jack that we would use for all of his little avatars. So this is Sketchpad all of like those avatars came from. Not much left. We're coming up near the end. There's another... This is the point in time I think I was experimenting with art styles. The point in time when I was starting to realize that drawing anime might not really be my thing. This is the point in time when a roommate had moved out, but they paid for Wi-Fi. So we had to essentially wait until we could get a new box. And until then, I watched Corpse Bride on the PlayStation 2. I just put the DVD right in, and I noted something like, hey, like, all of these characters are extremely distinct by their shape, even just, like, non-consequential background characters. And I got inspired to experiment with a style kind of similar. Then I was already getting inspired by, like, other cartoon creators, like Butch Hartman, for example. That's why I have this Skulker-looking dude. It's just basically Skulker, but less interesting. And here's one of the early versions of John. I haven't done anything with this guy yet. That's so unfortunate. He's been just sitting there, and he's one of the characters that always stays in my head because I don't do anything with him. Along with these other characters made specifically for his show. Buzz the Lizard, Millennial Grizzly. I guess nowadays I'd call him Gen Z Grizzly. I'd have to change his design though. I'm not sure if that would fit. And there's Elder Mole. The entire idea of his show is that it was going to be based on like John would have to go through like it would be a way for me to sort of regurgitate stories from my times at working at a Sunoco gas station, which I was still working at that point. I still want to make this show. Look at that thing. Holy hail. I like this guy. He's a little too detailed in my opinion. I like him though. Not sure who this big feller is, or I'm not sure who either of these are. One's a beat board with a screen, and one's a Zetterburn looking ass. Just some Venus flytrap looking thing. Huh, let me look at him. Yeah, here's a concept art for the hotel. The hotel that was meant to represent Hotel Room 103 and eventually the Crimson Kingdom lore series. As you can see, like, these little things floating around the hotel didn't make it into the final version. But I still like the hotel. This is a front angle of it. This was an attempt to redesign Leon Hoverza in the new art style. It didn't really work out that well. There's candy corn, there's a bird, there's eyeball, there's whatever the hell that thing is. All little friendly kooky characters. What is this thing? Hi, my name is Ugly. He doesn't seem that ugly though. God, I was so frickin' judgy, wasn't I? There's an attempt at like emo art. I think we're coming up to like... Yeah, my mom thought this is normally my art style. She thought like... or at least this was. I remember distinctly she pointed at this one and said, oh, that was your style. And it's like, nah, but... You know. What is this? This is a bus. What is this fucking demonic magical school bus? There's Slender Man. There's a demonic phone. I think that's Slit Mouth Woman on the side. Oh, and here's Disney Asylum. Originally Cartoon Asylum, which is going to be called Disney Asylum. And it was going to be centered around Disney. And in fact, this was going to be a part of it. This weird version of Mickey Mouse. It's not Suicide Mouse. It's just going to be like my own version of a distorted Mickey Mouse. I kind of like him. I like his swirly cinnamon bun unraveling ears, especially, and his fucked up shorts. This I think is meant to be Hubert Cumberdale from Salad Fingers, but like Salad Fingers' fingers actually coming out from the top. This is some kind of bird character. I'm not sure exactly what he's from. I think he's fan art in some kind. And this is just JoJo-based artwork of SpongeBob and Patrick. Ooh. And that's it for this one. Lordy. These can sometimes take a while to do, don't you agree? Well, that's this one here. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. I definitely found some really cool stuff. I was not expecting this. This is why I wanted to do this show. Because I was getting really, I'm getting really excited. Oh my god. See you in the next fucking video. Your connection will be real strange. Oh my god, real kooky.